If I were to scribble a little bit on a piece of paper, mark it with my signature, then show it to you without letting you know anything about it beforehand, your first thoughts would be about the drawing itself, what you were objectively seeing right in front of you. But for me, this drawing expresses the idea of progress, and not letting traditional rules be in the way of experimenting with new ideas. How I show this idea is in the drawing itself. I made something that doesn't correlate with traditional ideas of what an artwork should be. But I made an art piece that makes you question it at first because it's not what you are used to, but rather something I want you to get used to. This art piece is more about the underlying meaning than the drawing itself. So the word art in itself means the expression or application of human creative skill and imagination, typically in a visual form such as painting or sculpture, producing works to be appreciated primarily for their beauty or emotional power. Something that is created with imagination and skill, and that is beautiful or that expresses important ideas or feelings. My drawing does exactly that. It expresses an idea, but at the same time, the drawing itself doesn't objectively look that good. But like I said, that's the whole idea of the painting. To show something unexpected and to show something that isn't traditionally viewed to be good, making the message, progress, all the more connected to what is actually on the paper. The drawing is, of course, subjective. You don't have to agree with the message being expressed, you don't have to like the drawing, but at the same time you are totally free to like it. The drawing's main purpose is the message. But if you think about that, you can also argue that the moment the text next to the painting has more to say than the actual painting, that's when you've stopped making art. At that point, that's when you've stopped making art and started to spread a message just through text, basically. So why even make the art piece in the first place? Well, in the same way that you can spread a message through film. Expressing an idea with both writing and visualization. Writing and visualization. But of course, a film is usually made to be looking as good as possible, but this drawing isn't. But because it isn't, it just makes the idea of progress all the more relevant in the drawing itself. But an objectively good drawing would be something like this. This obviously looks good, it's impressive and shows a milestone of human capability. I mean, I had no idea a person could even do something like this with a pen and paper. But that's about it. What makes this drawing look good is the mere idea of it. It's kinda like a showcase. A showcase of putting a real-world person on paper, which limits your ways of expressing something through the art itself. The whole message of the drawing is just right there. A good-looking drawing. Not much more. So that's why it can be important to have fun with your drawings. Do something that is only capable in your mind. We all both appreciate something that looks hyper-realistic, and we also appreciate something that is a little bit more experimental. Both can be great in their own ways, but just one of the two is much more likely to show a deeper meaning. What I have just briefly explained is the idea of modern art in a hopefully simple and understanding way. A great summary of what modern art is that modern art embraces a wide variety of movements, theories, and attitudes whose modernism resides particularly in a tendency to reject traditional academic forms and conventions in an effort to create an art more in keeping with changed social, economic, and intellectual conditions. Many great paintings come from the modern art era of 1860 to 1970. Nowadays, modern art is called temporary art. These paintings are great. They come from the modern art era where a deeper message was usually being portrayed. But when modern art becomes a problem is when things like this start to arise. Here, ladies and gentlemen, we have the infamous duct tape banana. Yep, this guy ate the banana.
Nice approach!
A piece made by an Italian artist by the name of Maurizio Cattelan, famous for his works mostly with sculptures. But in 2019 he decided to shock the world with his infamous banana, first debuted at Art Basel, Miami Beach. This honestly seems kinda unfair. I mean, there are so many independent artists, filmmakers, musicians out there working hard, trying their absolute best to create something great, spending hours of their time trying to perfect their craft, but unfortunately for a lot of them, many won't go far. So much media goes unappreciated, and instead a banana duct taped to the wall gets sold for $6 million. Sold at Sotheby's auction on the 20th of November 2024. This honestly kinda just seems like rich people being bored. Either way, the duct tape banana did make an impact. Like I said in the beginning about what modern art kinda is. This drawing expresses the idea of progress and not letting traditional rules be in the way of experimenting with new ideas. And a new idea this was. The duct tape banana, or as it's actually called, comedian, is one of the most impactful artworks in recent years. Everyone heard of this when it came out. Art Basel Miami Beach even had to make restrictions due to the traction and crowds forming around it. It really stretches the boundaries of what can be considered art, and made everyone question it, talking about it, arguing about it, or even being mad about it. Maybe that is just what was intended, even from the start.